at the top left, there's an option to set your display name and even your email associated with the Gravatar. And I think we're live streaming, so here we are. Yeah, the live stream is on. Maybe Matt, I don't know if you want to monitor the live stream for me in the background and make sure I'm doing the right thing. This is the first time I've actually live streamed successfully from a Jitsi. But it's time for the marketing meeting. And I've gone with a Google Doc just so that in principle, I'm not the only one who needs to type. But here's the doc here. So in principle, people could, rather than having to say them out, they can add their little elements.
Sorry, Sam. Do you mind? I don't know. I can't see it from the left-hand side, the screen.
You can't see the left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah.
Add the little elements.
Sorry, Sam. Do you mind? I don't know. I can't see it from the left-hand side, the screen.
Okay. So hold on, Marufa. So when you say you can't see the left-hand side, I don't know if you're referring to. I was talking about the left-hand side as being a place to set your screen name, which probably is completely different on the phone. So don't worry about that. If you're just saying that the screen layout means that you can't see can you when you're on your phone, can you usually see the text editor or whatever that I'm dealing with?
I think now I don't know what I'm seeing. Okay.
I mean, I can adjust.
Yeah, I can see it, but no. Can you what you did before because I can't see people's names? So can you put it on the left? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the difficulty because I can't see what you're seeing, so I can't tell what you're having a problem with or what. I mean, and I would say at the moment there's not.
It's okay. It's okay.
For you to see
I think it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I think as long as you're getting the audio, we'll see.
No, I tilt my phone around and I can see it all now.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, great.
It's okay. Sorry.
Woo-hoo! Right. Yes. Good call. Okay. So anyway, we've got our previous action items. I've added two things that I wanted to mention: podcast and content density. Should we just go round? I mean, other people can, if you have, you can feel free to edit and put stuff in yourself. Let's go. I think Michael was first. Michael, have you got any marketing stuff that you'd like to put on the agenda?
So maybe not directly marketing learning, but so basically kind of brainstorming for what concepts, what things would be useful for predicting somebody's going to sign up for a premium service.
Sure. I think that could be extremely valuable. Excellent. We'll put that on the agenda. Matt was in next. Matt, have you got anything on your mind?
Yeah, just a small to-do. I think you need to add me to Google Analytics for website 1.
Okay.
And the newsletter.
Okay.
Not sure.
No problem. Yep. Blandine, do you have anything for us?
Yes, I would like to talk about the social media plan.
Okay. Great. Lara?
Just the Google AdWords.
Right. And Marufa?
Not now. Sorry.
No new items. No worries. Okay.
And the A/B testing for the prototype.
Yeah, that's And so on that, I think Google refers it specifically as content testing, and they call A/B. I know it's like general A/B testing. I think within Google, when you have the same advert going to different sites, they specifically refer to that to content testing, and they call A/B testing something else when you're trying out 2 different ads. But anyway, let's just go through some of the previous action items. Right, things I have failed to empower others to make changes to the welcome bot. That continues to be an upcoming action item. There was Lara changing the Facebook image.
I haven't even got to that yet.
Not yet. And is Federico here?
Yes. Can you hear
Federico. We can hear you. Welcome to Jitsi. Woo, Jitsi. Woo. Sorry, very good. Yeah, I didn't realize you were here. Do you have any items for the agenda?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. So let's go in. Yeah, explore uploading user data to HubSpot.
Right. So hopefully I'll get to the pushing out the newsletter tomorrow, like around this time, like after the RSpec mob, if we have it.
Oh yeah.
And I'll do that then.
Okay, so that's yeah. All right, let's put that in there. Laura, so yeah, so the experiment with the Google AdWords is done or still pending?
No, I'm still pending. I just set up the drafts today, this morning.
Cool.
I just need to put them into the experiment box, which I'll do just now, actually.
Fantastic.
I just need to figure out how to get it from drafts to experiment.
Right, good stuff. Yes, well, maybe we can look together drafts to experiment. And I'm right, and they call it a content test, right? Don't they, within Google AdWords?
Sorry, there's just a plane that flew over. I didn't hear what you said.
I said they call it a content test in Google AdWords, where to distinguish between A/B testing, where you're testing two different ads.
Yeah, the thing is, you're testing two different ads, but with the same keywords. It's a new feature that they actually released last year. So it's so that your ads don't compete against the same keywords.
Okay, so it would be the same. It would be the same ad with different keywords.
Just a different link. Yeah.
But a different. But again, if the keywords are different.
No, the keywords stay the same.
Oh, the keywords are the same. The ad is the same, but the links are different.
Different. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. So we fixed up the redirect issue, and it turns out I didn't need to get image maps because we've got the whole thing running on Google. What's it called? Oh no, it's not Try. It's Y. Yes. So it still loads the InVision thing and does it. Annoyingly, you can still navigate through it like a screen thing. Anyway, it is what it is. It's not as smooth as we would like, but yeah. So certain things have done there. That's a separate issue, I guess, about should we go further to make it smoother before doing the test? But let's so Matt, analytics, compare click-throughs. So that is you need access. Okay, clearly weren't able to do that. My apologies. Going on. Right, yeah. So like we've got. I'll add that to my things there if we have time to get onto it. Yeah, I found the previous survey that we did and thinking we should do it again. This is of all members, and then thinking of a survey for individual premium mock-ups of premium members. So I did some notes on that. This is sort of, this needs to continue in that, and I guess I'll put myself on that. Yeah. And I think, and I added some stuff on the mock-ups generally, but I need to mock up the actual page itself. Somebody got me on. I'm getting a bit of echo there. But if people want to mute if they're not actively speaking.
I think that's Matt.
Okay. And then Matt, there was something about you going to do a meetup?
Yeah, I still want to do it, so I guess forward that.
Yep. Right. Okay. So then that was okay. I think we've got some repeats there. Actually, that looks like are they all repeats until here? And then okay. So Marufa, Federico, the newsletter that's obviously in progress. Social media plan. These are in the thing, so we'll come to them. Oh, Matt, did you get Marufa set up with an Agile Ventures email?
Yeah, we did everything except it wasn't accepting her password.
Okay. So that's been attempted, but we're stuck. We're blocked.
Yeah, she's blocked. She was going to try it again at home.
It didn't work.
It still didn't work?
It didn't work.
Because we did everything except when you went to do your password, it couldn't.
Yeah, but my password is correct. Like I changed the password again, and I had a meeting with Federico, and I used the new password. The password isn't the problem. I don't know why it's not I don't know why it's blocked.
Because we were doing everything exactly.
Okay, so we've got something that's working for you, Matt, but it's not working for Marufa. Okay. I wonder if we can somehow get the
Somebody else want an Agile Ventures email that could try it.
I mean, Marufa, don't tell me now, but when you look at it again, could you somehow document the place at which it's blocking, like the steps? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I can do that. Yes, I will do that. I'll make a document and print screen it so you can see what I'm doing. Okay.
Fantastic. Print screen the block. It ultimately, it's frustrating. Frustrating things. It may be unresolvable, but yeah, if you can print the screen for it, that's great. Okay, so then me. I mean, I've done my year of blogging now. I haven't done an article on that. But let's see. Put that there. Hope to do more last week, but then I got ill. Okay, everyone, welcome new members more. Share responsibility. Discuss progress at next meeting. Send everyone the welcome new members template post. Federico, do we have the welcome new members template post?
Yeah.
And where do we find that if we want it? It's
yeah, I tried to do a screen share right now. It didn't work. So I sent it basically to everyone but you.
When you say sent, you mean you DM'd it to them? You emailed it to them?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Great. So that's done.
I'll send that to you as well.
All right. And then so we've got is this. Okay. So I think we're so much. So that's let's get rid of those. Okay, but so we've got there a thing as well to like discuss the welcoming new members. So how do we think progress, Federico? How do we think progress went there?
Well, I appreciate everyone helping out a little bit. Yeah, especially Laura and Marufa.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. I noticed in the news, what's it called, the Slack, the letter they sent every week, we lost 46 active members and we gained 23. So we're losing twice as many as we're gaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I didn't check the week before, which kind of prompted this. I forgot what those numbers were.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're kind of communicating with everyone who comes in, which is good.
Yes. Go on, Marufa.
I feel like we are talking to new members, but maybe I was thinking about this. In different projects, if there's members who are not talking, if you can get the team group leaders of the project, just ask the question to someone in that channel that isn't talking. Because what I'm noticing is it's not the fact that new members are not getting engaged, it's the ones that are already members that are leaving. So while they're in different channels, if we can try and interact with them before. So that is what I seem to think the problem is, that we're not interacting with people who are already members, not just new ones. So I'm just trying to think of a quick fix for that.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, yeah, I raised my hand there in Jitsi.
Cool.
Maybe we don't need any more new ideas, but it's kind of what you were doing, Sam, with like trying to get more people who want to be project managers. If we had a list of projects and what they need, it might encourage people like, oh, I saw that you need a Rails programmer.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know if
I do. Go on, Laura.
I remember about a month ago there was a Scrum Master who actually joined.
Yeah.
And was very keen to get involved.
And
just then, I don't know what happened. We did communicate with her, and
I think it's challenging, isn't it? Because I think there are people who come in and can be really enthusiastic, and then they don't get involved, and it's unclear, is that because we did something wrong or just something happened in their life or what have you? It's difficult to know. I think Matt's suggestion is great. I think also Marufa's. There's the one thing that I do. Like, I was just like, so I was watching the new members, and so like this person Videsh who'd been directed here. As soon as I saw it today, assuming you can see my screen, I jumped over and welcomed him and gave him some input. I think this is one of the interesting things about Slack is you get if somebody mentions your name in a channel, you get an alert, but if somebody joins a channel, you don't. And actually, I think, well, my intuition is that partly, like when people join a channel, they need, you know, like that's a moment at which we want to, you know, say, oh, welcome, you know, positive feeling, you know, and here are some things to do. So one of the thoughts I had there was, you know, as well as just like individual project managers and team members welcoming people. I mean, I guess, Marufa, you were saying like reach out to people who are already in the channel, which I think is, you know, you can do, but it's like capturing those people when they're, you know, active is important as well. We could partially automate that in the same way that we get those automated things when people join the Slack as a whole. We could have it so that when new people join a channel that they get, and that would be a service that we offer to project managers who maybe can't be monitoring Slack all the time, that each project manager can say, oh, right, this is the set of, you know, this is the welcome message that should go out to help orient people when they first arrive. I don't know. But going on to Matt's one, I think, you know, we have wonderful Marufa joining us because we listed the marketing intern thing on a, you know, internship site. I think there's an aspect of we're very informal. You know, people come in and we say, hey, you could do this, you could do that. I think possibly if, not that we should all become massively more formal, but if there was, you know, as Matt was saying, and I'm talking about, you know, if we could list, you know, looking for Java developer here, looking for Ruby developer here, looking for project manager here, and we had sort of lists of those and they were kept up to date, and it sort of talked about what the requirements were, the responsibilities, this, that, and the other, that might, you know, get, even if it was saying like, you know, minimum requirement, please stay around for a 2-week sprint, that it would be an experiment, right? We would see if having something like that, you know, made people feel more comfortable and stayed engaged. Worth a try, I guess.
It would give them an idea of the benefits they have of joining and give them a bit of structure.
Right.
So I think that'd be quite good.
Yeah. Any other suggestions on this or thoughts?
Well, can I just say, the reason why I'm saying about existing members is because I just feel like it's the existing members that are leaving more than the new members. Yes. That's a bit of a worry. It's like, are they getting, as much as we want to try and get people to come, so once they're here, what are we doing for them? Because they're just shying away, and it seems to become a frequent problem. There's no only point worrying about creating new members, but I do worry that are they not engaging for a certain reason? I don't know.
Yes, and it's the interesting thing there is to think about it in the context of it. It's Slack giving us that thing, and I imagine, and this would be good to check, is probably the majority of people are using Slack through the web, and what they will probably do is, like, when it's saying members became inactive, they may be active members who just don't happen to be using Slack. It's just telling us that they, you know, maybe that they posted, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Federico, but I imagine that if someone has like 3 or 4 posts in new members in a given week, they'll probably be marked as an active member. The following week, if they haven't done anything in Slack, then they may not, you know, it'll be that transition. I don't imagine. I guess we have to dive down, Marufa, that the, you know, it's not that someone who's been regularly active in Slack for 10 weeks is then, you know, suddenly, you know, being lost.
I understand.
Yeah. So we'd have to get more data.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we have CRM, it would kind of show where people are at without.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. We need better tracking to do it. I think that the we've got a couple of action items there in terms of this and that. Maybe this one. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I guess we've got. Let's turn that into specific new action items. There is. can we get more data on why people become inactive? After how long? This is the kind of thing actually that Michael's data analysis relates to. Get listings showing, what's the word? Get listings showing benefits and responsibilities of roles, and then greet people joining new projects.
Does that second item, Sam, include a list on the website somewhere?
Yeah, I'm thinking of like an opportunities page that lists those things.
I was thinking if there's a list, even in the marketing meeting, we could go. Like, has anybody thought of something new? Like, I just thought that, like, a project manager for async voter, I'm I put my name in, but I'm not, just because nobody else wanted to do.
Well, yeah, and that they could be, these could be being reviewed in marketing meetings.
If there was a list on the website or something.
Yeah. Okay, so there's some.
And
I
was thinking, what you're saying about job descriptions, maybe we should try and recruit through creating job descriptions to try and get new members. Is that what you're trying to talk about?
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, and then also these could be posted onto volunteering boards and so on. I did that one time for a usability test. Anyway, so moving on from there, I'm getting a audio loop probably from, is it from Matt again?
Yeah, there's an echo.
So if Matt may mute that, maybe, because I'm focusing on this thing, I can't really see what's happening in the Jitsi. So Laura, it says, I guess, let's see if we can get that. Can we tell who the echo's coming from?
Yeah, I don't know who's coming from, but it's quite hectic.
It looks like so. There's somebody here called Fellow Gister. I think is it Blandine?
I think Blandine and Maruf are the fellow Gisters.
My mic is off.
Okay, I'm going to mute Blandine. Okay, there we go. So I think that's them fixed it. Okay. So Lara, yes, Google AdWords sounds like you've well, on the content thing, you're ready. You just need to move from draft to experiment. Was there a bigger, more broader point that you wanted to make about Google AdWords?
No.
Okay, so just you set up the draft. And what are the in the draft? What are the have you set like 50-50 or what's the percentages that you've set?
I haven't even set the percentages yet.
Okay.
So I just changed. Yeah, I did it quickly this morning because I was also man down this weekend with a bit of flu. So, and then I just was reading about it and how to get around it. So, and I was reading about experiments. So I'll probably do it 50-50.
Yeah. Sure. Yes, and then we can see how it goes. Okay. So. Yeah, and it's the same advert, and yeah, all right. Well, I guess no need to look into that in more detail. We can maybe help you with if you're seriously stuck on the getting it into the experiment. So, unless anybody's got any more comments there or feelings that we should do more work on that experimental page, but I guess it's worth it. It's probably worth a try. Shall we move on to Blandine? You wanted to mention the social media plan.
Yes, I post on Slack the link of the social media, but I don't know if there are things to change.
Okay. So with that, we've got a situation there where
did you make the changes I commented on?
Yeah. Yes.
And Blandine, do you have headphones? We're getting a really serious echo when you're. Do you have headphones you can plug into your computer?
No, not with me. No.
Okay. Oh well.
Oh, excuse me.
That's right.
And is it me who must post them on the social networks?
if you want to use Hootsuite and give it a try.
Okay.
Was Laura, was that not my obligation? I'm not sure.
Oh, I didn't hear you, Federico.
I said, was that not my obligation to do from Hootsuite?
If you've got the time, but maybe Bernadine wants to do it just to get comfortable with it for the social media plan, and then maybe you can do next month.
Oh no, that's fine. She can do it. That's fine.
Because you've got a lot on your plate with the newsletter and HubSpot and.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
Bernadine, you saw a link that I also posted today. That if you needed to create some images to the right size, you can use that. If you get stuck, then just Slack me. I am around, and we can jump on and do it via Hootsuite.
I've muted Blandine briefly there while Federico and Laura, you were talking to each other because you seem to be having trouble hearing each other. Assuming that that's all right with Blandine. Blandine, feel free to unmute to say yes, but otherwise I guess we can move on. I was just going to look at, so Blandine posted the social media posting plan in the, okay, yeah, I've just found it here. Right. So, okay. So I guess one thing there, Blandine, if you could make that accessible to not just us individually, but there's a process of making any Google Doc or what have you, that's the wrong thing, like here in this one. I don't know if you can see or follow at the moment, but if you do the share and you click the advanced button down here, you can make it so that anybody who has the link can at least view. I mean, ideally, anybody who has the link can edit here. This is the setting that you generally want to use, I would say, for us, because otherwise people they go to look at it, they can't see it, they request, then that maybe comes back. But if you can default your Google Docs to that, or before you share them, that would be very helpful. Does that make sense, Blandine?
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks so much. All right. So I'll add that into here. We've got hopefully what just put in there. This is Blandine share with edits for private link for posting plan. Okay. All right. So moving on, Matt, you need to add it to Google Analytics. Is that mlindsay@gmail.com or
Matthew.r.
Okay, I can do that. And so then the newsletter.
Yeah, I guess Federico's already said maybe he's doing it tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. And if there's anything else needs sorting out, is it in hand?
Do you have? You said you have not written the blog post about the year of blogging.
But it can be created very easily.
Okay, and I noticed you had one about a month ago that I just recently proofread.
Yeah, but I can do one. Like if it's, it depends if we want a full blog post about it or if we're just having like the paragraph that usually goes into the newsletter. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, could you just write like a paragraph?
Yeah, sure. I'll make that happen today.
Thank you. And then I'll push to do everything tomorrow after the RSpec mob.
Cool. Great. All right.
I don't think we'll do that, Federico. I'm going to post because I got 4th of July plans.
That's fine. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. I'll post it on Slack.
All right.
Okay. So, wrong one. Moving on. Okay. So I think I imagine the podcast part 2 is still pending. Is that right, Federico?
Right. So a week ago, yes, I did start it up. I got the process started.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Which was monumental. But then I spent a few hours on that, and then once I really had to start processing, I found other things to do. But I will get to it this Thursday.
Okay, and so there was it, because I think we had. I know the first one took a long time, and we were hoping that the second one, because of the improvement in the recording, would not take so long. But I guess you got to it, and it said that it's still quite a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good to know. And okay. All right. We'll have to go on.
Did you see my post on Slack about the Agile Ventures doing the funnels and the where am I? Sorry, in Google Analytics. I posted it, I think, over the weekend.
I did see that you. I saw that you posted. I didn't watch it yet, but I saw that you posted it. Yes.
So whoever is maybe playing around with analytics, just to watch that video that I posted. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. Or Friday, one of the two. Just
I'll watch it.
Creating funnels that are cool.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you, Laura. And well, Matt, you should now have access to this.
Thanks.
Go on, Michael.
Have we considered putting out a volunteer ad for podcast editor?
We could do.
Find someone who is kind of learning the ropes of how to do audio editing and stuff and wants to volunteer.
That's a possibility. And Federico, did you start to write down any of the process, the steps of the process, or you just kind of got on and did it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But I mean, I noticed that, that part, I was sped up because of the last one.
Sure.
I did not document any of it.
Right.
Does anyone have any idea where to post for a volunteer to do that? I mean, it would have to be someone who has prior experience.
Well, I think that there are places. I mean, the other thing is that there are probably cheaper. There are probably cheap podcasts. Like the person that I asked before was like a particularly expensive one, and there's I think there are things like Podcast Motor and other stuff that are online that will do it at a knockdown price. So that's something to look at. Go on, Marufa.
What about a student? Like, they might do it. Someone who does digital marketing or something.
Absolutely.
in like those internship job descriptions.
Yes.
I'm sure someone would volunteer to do it. So
yes.
Just put an ad out as well.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. And we may say, like, for example, the next month's newsletter, we should, Federico's been doing all this work with the newsletter. Maybe someone else will take the lead for the newsletter next month and free Federico up for, finishing up the second podcast. Because I think even if we've got a volunteer, that, Federico's got to have the time to work that person through the process.
It might be worth physically putting ads out on actual campuses.
Right.
I know that it was maybe 5 years ago that we were doing I was involved with a team that was developing a case competition. And part of it was they were going to video it.
Right.
Like the results and for promotional purposes, and then they had statements by this professor saying, "Oh, this is a great competition," and everything.
Sure.
And we ended up getting a volunteer in visual arts or whatever.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's
did really good work. But
definitely a possibility. Great. So, go on, Marufa.
I was going to say, oh, I'll take the lead next month for the newsletter. And Federico was showing me how to do some of the editing. So hopefully I can just progress and keep doing it.
Fantastic. Yes. And then, I mean, there's a general theme there for all these things for the regular activities. If we can start to write down, you know, the steps that we go through. I've just done it myself for posting the emailings for the massively open online class, which has turned into a real grind for me, and I've got really behind on. And I just spent Saturday morning doing screenshots and step-by-steps of if you're going to do a posting. So I know that's extra work, but sometimes that's the barrier that one has to get through in order to hand things off to other people. Go on, Michael.
To go back to the idea of physical postings, like putting flyers out.
Right.
Be putting out flyers and put up, you know, an ad on it depends on the policy, but
yeah, no, I think that can definitely be effective. I think there's also the desire that any person who's going to be working with us, they're going to need to like interact with us remotely. So, but yeah, it's definitely something that can be tried, and there's Craigslist and all sorts of things. So, but yeah, let's come to that. So I think we've already covered the content testing thing, unless anybody else wants to talk about that. On the survey, did everybody get a chance to see the survey that I'd sent out previously?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, not from our side.
Okay. I guess I'll just I had terrible trouble finding it in here. Can I immediately find it? The input that I would be looking for is just, you know, should we send out exactly the same survey again in order to have a direct comparison? Are there questions that people would like to add to the survey, or any feelings in that matter, or should I just get it out and do it?
I had a question. I don't know if it was through that survey or another one, and it had something to do with job descriptions of how to, what you're lacking and how to improve. Was it in that survey, or you had two out? It was in another channel. Can't remember. Sorry, let me just hang on. Sorry, let me try and.
Yeah,
I'll come back to you.
That's all right. Well, anyway, but this is the survey here that I sent out. This is before we made the premium offering available. So this was to, at the time, like the 2,000 users that we had in Agile Ventures, and we were asking them, you know, resources you rely on to improve your skills, key skills you'd like to improve, obstacles to improving, and you know, this is before these plans were available. But when we started with this £10 a month premium membership and £150 premium plus membership, and we were asking what benefits they think would be the important ones, and then this thing. Hello?
Adjust the dollar prices now.
Sure, of course.
Post-Brexit.
Yes. Well, and of course we've got different plans, so it would seem sensible to update them to the plans. So, but people can, if they're interested, I think I've given access to everybody. I maybe sent the editable version to people by DM, which then has the responses from people. I guess we won't. It's got some personal data in there, so we won't go in there now. So yeah, and then but there was maybe what Maruffa is referring to. I've got, like, imagining we'll do like a shorter survey for the people who are actually already premium members, to ask them about which parts of the premium membership they most value, least value, what would they like us to add. That was the two things. So I guess, unless anybody says, oh, well, before you do it, you should, obviously we'll put in there the what Michael's saying, like Sam, update dollar values and, oh gosh, what are they called? Plans before sending out survey. I guess it makes me think that actually in the website, if it would be lovely if the whole thing was translated into the user's own currency rather than all this pound dollar stuff. Anyway, did anybody else any other thoughts on the surveys?
Yes, I have a question. How do you plan on like disseminating it? Do you want to send an email, or?
I imagine that the simplest and shortest way is to do it in an email. with the premium things, I may, yeah. I think I'll certainly do an email, and I may follow up in Slack if we have like almost no input, if you know what I mean.
Right. So by email, were you thinking MailChimp or Elastic Email?
I don't think we can use MailChimp with the current numbers of users, so we'd probably be using Elastic Email. No, and I guess it's the kind of thing that it could be going into the newsletter. Is that even worth it?
Elastic Mail, there's a feature that allows you to do a survey, but I think it's a shorter one. So I haven't really looked into how that feature works. I know like there's SurveyMonkey or there's other places that do distribute, might be easier. But I was also thinking if we could do two things. We could send a survey to try and get quantitative data and do a focus group, try and find out more what premium members are looking for and how we can improve within.
Sure.
Yeah. Because I did have some questions on a Google Doc for focus group.
Right.
So I could allocate some time and maybe do a focus group and try and gain some information through that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a very interesting idea. Yes, I mean, SurveyMonkey is great. I mean, I think the Google at the moment, since we already have something in Google Forms, we'll probably just use that. If you want questions added to the survey, that just let me know. It's an interesting thing. We've got these three levels of, there's like questionnaires, there's focus groups where you get the group of people together and have this sort of discussion, and then individual interviews. And I wonder, it's interesting. Marufa, you think there's a particular benefit of focus groups? There's a clear benefit of the focus group over the interview. Over the survey, that people can spark off each other and you can have this sort of chat. Do you see that there's a particular benefit of a focus group versus a one-on-one interview?
I feel like sometimes when I look at the community channel on their talk, I feel like that is a form of talking, but sometimes one person speaks more. But maybe in a focus group, it kind of condenses it. That's why I think there might be a benefit, because sometimes in the community channel, I feel like one person's voice is vocalize a lot more. But maybe in a focus group, there's a moderator, so therefore it allows other people to have, it's not one person's voice overtaking. So that's how I see it anyway.
Interesting. But you'd rather do a focus group with 5 rather than having like one.
Yes, because I feel with one-to-ones, there might be one person who's got a particular opinion and it can overshadow. Whereas, and I feel like they can express themselves through the Slack channels. I don't know. I feel it'd be nice to see different points of views in a one place.
Right. Yeah.
That's how. Yeah.
Well, that would be. I mean, we do have the AV community meeting.
All of them are great, but I just thinking.
No, I think they all have different pros and cons, and I think if you're keen to run a focus group, I think that would be very exciting.
I think that'd be I should concentrate on that actually. That'd be quite good.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Excellent.
So can I just say something? Sorry.
Go on.
So for Thursday, I could try and do a Q&A, and then I can try and get people together from different project groups, and then run it for the next week.
Sure.
Schedule it.
Yeah. You mean try and run a Jitsi or a Hangout event?
Yeah.
With different people from different projects.
Yeah. So I'll do the Q&A for Thursday.
Sure. Yes, and I mean, cool. All right. So then moving on, I think that's all of our things. It was Michael. You were sort of brainstorming concepts thing. I think we've kind of covered everything. We've got, there's a few, I'd like to try and finish up at 45, but certainly by the hour. Michael, do you just want to tell us? I think, and you've talked to me about this before, but maybe others don't necessarily know what you're thinking of. Do you want to explain the idea here, and we'll just spend 5 minutes on this?
So the idea is that right now one of our ideas is to try and predict who may be likely to sign up in a given week. And so potentially the thing with predictive analytics is that basically, like, whatever your model is, like, it kind of comes down to data a lot of times, and like the quality of the data. So you need kind of data that, like, for a machine to predict well, right? It would need to kind of have the right features that perhaps like a human expert would be able to look at that data and say, oh, maybe this or that, you know, this person or that person is going to sign up. So you can get better performance with machine because you can feed it more data and stuff. But basically, the idea is that you kind of need these concepts from the AV domain. So, like, for instance, you know, we have a Slack channel, we have, you know, Hangouts, we have different things, but like, how do we predict that someone's going to actually say sign up? Like, we can have concepts. So what I mean by concepts is things like, for instance, it could be as vague as like engagement with the community, right? And then we could brainstorm, like, how do we measure kind of that engagement, like Slack channels, or, you know, attending Hangouts, or contributing code, or, but kind of like at the highest level, like, what are some factors that we think may, some kind of concepts in AV, like that we think would actually kind of push someone, I guess, over the edge of saying, oh, I'm going to start actually financially contributing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what would be the action item, Michael?
To come up with like concepts, basically, okay, and then like breaking them down lower into like lower level concepts. So, like, for instance, okay, the community engagement, like attending Hangouts, contributing code, chatting in Slack. But like at the highest level, you kind of want to just kind of brainstorm like what the different categories would be, like, right? Because we kind of want, it's sometimes better to have different like measures, right? Because, like, say you know, someone maybe it may be the case, say, for instance, that like someone attending Hangouts and contributing code are kind of like quote unquote correlated,
right?
Which means that knowing that someone's contributing code and then knowing that they're attending a Hangout, maybe that's not adding as much information.
Right. So we don't need it, yeah, as a factor, as a, yeah.
Right. So, but like to have different categories of things so that we can go out and see whether or not, you know, like we can get data on it. Like in the first instance, I wouldn't necessarily worry about the data. It's just like, what are the categories we want data?
I'm so sorry to cut you off. I have to go. So see you guys. I'll watch the rest of the meeting later. Bye.
No worries. Thanks, Maruva. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah. So like kind of getting without like at the highest level, like what are kind of the factors we would want to measure without worrying necessarily about do we have the data. Right. Does that make sense to anyone?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it'd be very useful, especially for where to go, what marketing direction to go.
Yeah, potentially, I think it can be. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I've been adding some little things there based on around the concept of community engagement that you mentioned there, Michael. Then potentially people can just edit and add to this document. Does anybody have any immediate other ideas?
I mean, it's possible, like, perception of value of AV, right? So we could say, like, fairly sophisticated, but say like social network analysis, like we could say maybe there's like a link, like if somebody that you're like in a project with or somebody that you're in Hangouts a lot with, kind of like, or someone that you chat a lot with and chat, if, like doing AV premium, then maybe that kind of like spreads like that idea, like, oh, you know, John is doing it and he's getting value, maybe I should do it.
Right. Yes. I'm starting to think a lot more about activity in the website. And about, it's interesting, like it seems like the ability to predict when people might sign up is potentially quite valuable in terms of like forecasting future income.
It could be, yeah. But I mean, there's like a question, like it's covered in that book that I documented. Like,
right? Did you post the link into Data Money?
Yeah, I posted it. Like, they go over like examples, like for instance, like with the, you know, with the insurance fraud, you know, they go over a bunch of different examples. Like, oh, say someone's in insurance, say that, you know, say that insurance fraud is a problem for our insurance company. They go over a bunch of different potential solutions. Like one of them might be, I think they say, oh, you know, at the point of someone's application, is there like data that we can have that would say, oh, reject this person because they're likely to commit fraud?
Right.
Or at the point of the claim, how do we
assess that it's a fraudulent claim versus a legitimate claim?
Given that we only have so much investigative resources.
Absolutely. And that makes perfect sense in the insurance thing. The interesting thing for us is that for this one, we don't have the kind of equivalent decision point, in that we're not sort of deciding to let someone become a premium member or not, or at least that's not how we're running at the moment.
I mean, we can like prompt them to, like on the website, we can.
Yeah, it's an interesting question there of like, if we think that they're on the cusp of signing up, is it you know, the interesting question there is whether there's, you know, the appropriateness of the intervention or the potential value of the intervention. There's this kind of thing that happens at the moment, which is what, like, you know, if you go and look at one website, like you're thinking about buying a mountain bike, and then you kind of like get to the payment page and like, meh, and then you go over and you're looking at other websites, and you know that they show you adverts of mountain bikes.
Right.
Guys, now I don't know about anybody else. I find that kind of really sort of irritating and intrusive, and it makes me less likely to buy the mountain bike. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm being pursued. So it's, you know, one could, like, assuming one was doing it with some predictive value, or with some accuracy, you could then be, I guess you'd want to be A/B testing, like the effectiveness of the intervention, right?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be sure.
People do that, like for instance, you know, in different online games, they'll offer, you know, secret deals, like deals that are only specific to that person because they think, oh, maybe this person will spend money.
Right.
We offer them a discount or whatever.
Can you clarify one thing you said? That
go, Matt.
Can you actually predict, like, come up with a list of people that are on the cusp of possibly joining?
We've been doing that. Whether it's
accurate. Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought it was just like, I didn't know you actually have lists of.
Yeah, it's all in the data mining stuff. Michael's been doing great work there. I've been using it on some weeks to kind of like reach out to those people and say hello.
Okay, yeah, so you're already doing that. Okay.
To a degree, although more, there's certainly more that we could do.
Yeah, I mean, we're totally tracking people
but this is specifically through their behavior on Slack.
Okay, yeah, and I agree with extending it to the website or.
Yeah, I've been really struck by, particularly this relates to our whole design sprint thing. Is I was on a camping website the other week, and I ended up not buying this particular item of camping equipment. And I was like, I got to the checkout, the payment page, and I was basically like, and it popped up a little box and it said, "Oh, hey, we're noticing, you've been on here a while, but you haven't bought the item. Care to let us know why?" And it was like so inobtrusive. I was like, "Oh, the postage and packing was too high. Return, ban."
Apple Safari is actually doing work to block that kind of activity. I read.
Really?
Yeah, where the sites follow you to other sites.
Yeah, no, this is different. This is different.
Okay, this is the previous case.
So the previous thing, yeah, the site. I think that's awful. I'm imagining that like we've got this set up in Azure Ventures. Like Matt, you and I have been working on this, and I think this is like an extension of what we've been talking about, Matt. And you should have access to all the analytics and so on. But when people click on to upgrade to premium for additional support and get to here, and we've got our analytics about the people that are on here, like if people kind of got to this next page, getting started with premium, and here, like if we could be doing that here, like they were kind of particularly like so that they get to this point, that's maybe difficult to do with Stripe. But if we could detect that people were sort of hanging around on this page, and we could be popping up a little window here to say, "Oh, anything we can help with, you look like you might be interested in premium," and reach people at that point, be like people who are actually considering to sign up and get feedback from them on what, do you know what I mean? I think that would be potentially really valuable in terms of tuning the offering to does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah.
Cool. Michael, you were going to say something?
I was saying potentially if we had like a good algorithm for, saying, "Oh, this person is more likely than anyone else," then, could say, "Oh, when they log in
right
now and get a month free, or sign up now and get, a 25% discount for 6 months or whatever."
Absolutely. And it's seeming like if we could be pulling the data out of their movement through the website and then offering them that offer with a banner or what have you, like in the website, it's kind of, I guess one could be doing it in Slack as well. Anyway, there you go. Probably time to wrap up because we've gone a little bit over. Thanks, everyone. I think we covered a lot of good stuff there. Sorry for a little bit longer meeting than usual. I was away last week. I guess we'll talk again on Thursday. I'll copy and paste this into the Slack thing. Any other final critical issues before we?
You don't bring bagels to the meetings?
I'm working on that. I do bring. I had bagels. I consumed them before the meeting started. I'm still stuck on that matter transference issue to get them to all of you.
I personally like tea too.
Oh, I guess that reminds me of one thing that I would just mention before we go, which is that. So I did post those ideas about the premium, the rewording of the premium stuff to Ashley in the website one thing, and she made, I think, what was a really interesting comment. Go on.
No, I was gonna say I read that. That was pretty good. I think you should update it.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think Ashley made a very interesting point that she says that we never mention agile in any of that, which is what distinguishes us from a lot of other places, and it is like, we're kind of looking for things to offer to premiums, and they're sort of all individual separate things, and it's like not, like the funny thing is the agile stuff you kind of get for free by coming and getting involved in the project. But so I really don't know how we kind of offer agile support as premium, or like someone will be a Scrum coach for you for a week. Anyway, yes. So, but anyway, time to wrap up. So yeah, go on, Matt.
Sell like to do agile, right? You want quick feedback, right?
Yeah, there's a connection there with
like
the priority code review. But
yeah.
I guess, yeah,